Well, you are in the right place because today we are embarking on a journey to master research methodology in the blink of an eye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Biotech Hub. Today we are mastering research methodology. So grab your pens, your notebooks, and let's dive in. First thing first, what is research methodology? Well, for those who don't know, it's a systematic study of methods used in research for guiding scholars in conducting a credible and a valid study. So let's start with the very first topic of our research methodology syllabus, that is the evolution of scientific inquiries. Well, when we are talking about the evolution, we are basically talking about how that methodologies have changed significantly over the period of a time. So, if we quickly look into the overview of our scientific inquiries, how they have changed, or what evolution has given us in terms of research methodologies. So, very first, in the early observational and philosophical inquiries in ancient time, in very early civilization, some ancient Greeks and Chinese, they engage in very basic form of researches for scientific observations and for inquiries. There were few philosophers like Aristotle. He developed theories based on his observation, his reasoning, and he laid the foundation for natural philosophy. And during this basic time, thinkers like Galileo Galilei, Kepler, they emphasize on the observation and experimentation. Then comes the 16th, 17th centuries scientific revolution era, which marked a very significant which was marked by a very significant works of Kepler, Newton, because they developed new theories based on their observations, their experiments, and their analysis. And scientific methods were introduced, hypothesis formulation, experimentations, observations, theory refinement was there in that era, and embracing of scientific societies, academic, promoting collaborations and findings. These all were emphasized, were put forward in that scientific revolution era. Then comes the age of enlightenment, 18th century. So this was a enlightenment for the thinkers to advocate for some reasons behind that. And it was also the time where the modern scientific disciplines were developed, like chemistry, biology, physics, with some specific journals, with some specific societies. So that was the age of enlightenment. Then comes our era of industrial revolution and professionalism, which was between 18th and 19th century. So the scientific inquiry expanded in that particular era by some technological advancement, by industrialization. There was establishment of academic institutes going, there was laboratory construction, scientific journals were introduced, and even Darwin put his evolutionary theory of natural selection, and Mendel's work on genetics also laid foundation for some modern biologies, if we take off an example. Next comes the 20th century and beyond. So 20th century was a rapid advancement phase for all the scientific disciplines, and there were interdisciplinary fields were introduced. There was technology improvement, there was collaborations, there were specifications. Fields like biochemistry, biophysics, neuroscience, they also emerged in 20th century. So there was a very increased reliance on computer methodologies, as well as for big data and stimulations, and many more things. So there was a very greater emphasis on some peer review, on the reproducibility of that experiment, of that research. And there was also an open access in scientific research. Earlier, in phases, there was not that much of access for the scientific research done by one of the person. But in 20th century, and by that time, the computer methods were so increased by that time, by that century. So the scientific research whatever is conducting within one corner of the world can be accessed to other corner of the world as well. Then comes our contemporary trends. So it was basically a globalization of the scientific research with international collaborations and exchanges. So growing recognition of the important diversity, inclusion in science, integration of social sciences, humanities into scientific inquiries for addressing societal challenges, these kind of things, heightened awareness of ethical consideration in terms of research, including responsible conducts and the impact of science on society and environment. So there was awareness about everything in this awareness about everything in this contemporary trend. So the evolution of science has reflected a continuous process of refinement, adaptation and expansion, driven by human curiosities to understand the natural world. Thank you all for your patient ears, and like, share and subscribe if you like the content.